miscommunication, and when we have judgmental, negative thoughts. Miscommunication, and when we have judgmental, negative thoughts that just pop up. Especially during these times, it's easy to misinterpret what people really want to say. On technology, through text and email, it's hard to know somebody's tone and what their intentions are. Carl Jung said, I love this quote, he said, "Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge." And that is so true. If we really took time to slow down our thinking, we would actually suffer less because we wouldn't be snapping into that judgmental part of our brain. And that's what makes us suffer the most, whether we're judging ourselves or judging other people. So I wanted to offer up this really quick and easy exercise, which is just to suspend your thoughts, suspend your story. So the moment you start to have thoughts about a situation or a person and what's happening, take a breath and just pause and suspend and ask the question, what if this wasn't true? Just to take that space. This exercise is an enhancement of what happens during the process of meditation. In the process of meditation, you're taking time to consciously observe and witness your thoughts. So you're opening up another perspective that's more neutral, that's not in your head, and you're watching the stream of thoughts. So the more you're still and you slow down and you watch what's really happening, the more you begin to see how your own thinking may be flawed or limited or causing you to suffer. And this is really the basis of the stress that we experience in our everyday lives, is just the way we perceive and think about our everyday situations. It's just that. We see something, we don't like it, and we instantly react with fearful, judgmental, or stressful thoughts. And we go right into that mode of thinking without even knowing that we're doing it. So what meditation does is it slows down that process. And what I suggest, especially during these heightened times of stress and division, polarity, is to slow it down for yourself and to, for a moment, take yourself out of the story that you're telling yourself of what's happening. So that's all you're doing, is you're interrupting that process, the normal thinking process. Because I truly believe that if we were going to look at things clearly, you could say from a spiritual point of view, with that much wider, bigger perspective that's compassionate, that we would never be angry or judge or be violent in our mind towards ourselves or other people if we really took time to make that intention to see clearly. So this is how you can start to watch your thoughts if you're just starting a meditation practice. You can sit in silence and just see if you can watch yourself. So imagine watching your own thoughts and seeing your thoughts like clouds in the sky, just as a separate thing that's happening other than you, so that you're not identifying so closely to those thoughts and thinking that those thoughts are you, because every thought elicits an emotion and a feeling, a belief, and a story. So you'll notice that every thought has an entanglement of energy and energetic patterns. So the more we can be aware of the nature of our own thoughts, if they're divisive, if they're judgmental, if they're negative, the more we can work within ourselves to see from that bigger, more compassionate perspective and let go, perhaps, of a lot of things that just aren't true. Because if we really took the time to understand, if we really took the time to think about it, that we would know that we're seeing from a very, very limited perspective. So I hope you find that helpful. And hello, I don't know who's here. Maybe you can say hi if you like, or I'm not sure how to, comment moderation. Okay, so let's see. I just opened up the comments, I think. So if you want to comment, please feel free, say hello. And I say this now because of the lots of layers of miscommunication, whether it's in technology, within ourselves, with our peers, our loved ones, and it's easy to misinterpret. It's so easy. It's much easier to misinterpret and to judge than to take time to really see from other people's perspective. Danielle, hello. You said the 5 things that are entangled. Okay, so when we have a thought, it elicits a feeling, an emotion, a story, a belief. It elicits a meaning. So oftentimes when we have negative thoughts, it's because we're interpreting a meaning from someone's actions. And if you are somebody that tends to think that, people or life is against you, for example, then you might tend to see things, and this is often the case, especially in the Western world, I find, where there's so much individuality and self-focus with the nature of the Western world and how it became civilized and colonized, that there is that tendency for people to see things as happening to them, that they take those things personally. So there is a lot of victim bully consciousness that we see being played out. And victim consciousness is when you experience the fragility or the strong identification to your ego. And when that's threatened, when that ego perspective is threatened, there's a tendency to think that person did that to me, like they intended something really bad or negative towards you. And whether that's the case or not the case, this person, this other outside source has probably been going around doing that to everybody, but we will make a story and make it really big in our own minds, and then we'll start expanding that story and spiraling into negative emotions like anger and judgment and upset because it meant something about us. Ultimately, if it means something about you, then we can take that harshly, those experiences harshly. So with meditation, it's an opportunity to step outside of yourself. So to not identify with your thoughts, your gender, your race, your everything that represents you, to just for a moment suspend all of that and become nothing, become nobody in meditation. You're releasing all the identifications, the external identifications. And when you do that and you're willing to become nothing, just like space, just for a moment, then your perspective begins to shift, and you see more clearly what's happening. And when you see more clearly what's happening and your engagement in what's happening, it allows you to easily release the suffering and the thoughts and the negativity and the attachment around that experience. So with meditation, you're slowing it down and you're releasing the identifications, and you're able to see things from a more holistic perspective. And really what we're seeing today is some of that victim bully consciousness really being played out. So having a high awareness of that is key. And when we start to feel attacked or judged or rejected or abandoned, these very high level, things that come up in us, It's such a great opportunity for practice and to see what our thoughts are about being rejected or abandoned or judged or left out. It's really helpful to go much deeper and go beyond that so that those types of experiences don't oppress us or limit us in any way. We can start to see in a more open perspective.